Welcome back. Today we're working on using balance to achieve overall wellness, and reflexology is one of the world's oldest wellness practices. With me is certified reflexologist Deborah Flanagan. Deborah, welcome.
Thanks.
Thanks so much for being here. So tell us what reflexology is.
So reflexology is based on the premise that a map of the body is reflected on the hands and the feet, starting with the head, working down the spine, down to the digestive.
Spine is here.
Digestive, upper body, lower body. And by applying alternating pressure to specific points on the hands and feet, they correspond to the different organs and parts of the body.
Aha, so it's like a standing up person, and this is our head. Okay, so we're going to be working in this region primarily?
Yes.
Ah, fabulous. So do you use reflexology in your own life? Has it helped you?
Yeah, I definitely do. You know, I got into this because I worked for 15 years as a development director at arts nonprofits, and you know, it was a more than full-time job. And having my own Reiki and reflexology practice helped me help myself with these self-help techniques, and I like giving my clients things that they can do. It's empowering to have tools that you can use yourself.
So you're a reflexologist, but your clients can do this at home? They don't need to come to a personal reflexologist to work on these things? They can actually just press their own points?
Yeah, I'm going to show you some simple techniques that'll sort of be like a mini reflexology session.
Oh, cool. Okay, so let's work on some typical things that everybody experiences. I think stress, one that I could use right now. What am I going to use for stress?
So the most powerful point in reflexology is the solar plexus reflex, which is in the center. Yeah, this is a large network of nerves. People hold a lot of tension here. Yeah. We feel things in our gut, right?
We suck in.
Yeah. And by applying pressure to the center of the palm.
But it's not right down here. You're applying like right underneath the balls.
Yeah.
Okay.
And holding that for 30 or 45 seconds, doing both hands.
How many times?
I would just do it once, a couple times a day. It's something that you can do in the middle of the day, in a meeting. If your kids are, you know, driving you crazy, it's just something simple that you can do to kind of bring that deep breath. And if you have a partner and they can do it on your feet, that feels even better.
And on my feet, it will be right under the ball of the foot?
The ball of the foot.
Perfect. Yes, I'm going to go home and press my feet, too. This is working. I feel good. Yeah. All right, so another thing that I'm curious about, and I think a lot of people suffer from as well, are allergies. What can I do for my allergies?
So with any kind of congestion, the reflexes for the sinuses are the fingers, because that corresponds to the head.
Right.
And pressing up to the tips of each finger. If you are congested, it might feel a little tight towards the tips of the fingers.
Yeah, okay.
And doing each finger a couple times, doing this 2 or 3 times a day.
Feels really good.
Doing both hands. And
do you do the thumb too?
Yeah, do the thumb. Okay. And sometimes if you're feeling congested, you'll immediately notice that you can breathe a little bit easier. So it works pretty quickly.
Wow, I like that.
Yeah.
That's good. What about PMS?
So reflexology is particularly effective with all things reproductive. One of the first peer-reviewed, studies done in a peer-reviewed medical journal was for women who had such severe PMS they had to be hospitalized. So that was pretty intense. And after the study, using reflexology, they had a 58% improvement in their symptoms, which is
that's significant.
Pretty dramatic.
Yeah.
So the reflexes for the reproductive organs are the sides of the wrist. And just clasping the wrist with the other hand and then twisting your hand, you're not only stimulating the reproductive reflexes, but as a reflexologist, I'm not working with the meridians of the body in the way that an acupuncturist is, but I'm very aware that a large number of meridians go through the wrist and ankles, and so this is kind of an energizing technique as well.
So would this work for other reproductive sorts of things, like if you were menopausal, this would help with hot flashes?
It's great for hot flashes, for fertility issues,
for getting in the mood?
For getting in the mood, yes.
This is a good thing to do with your partner. Rub my wrist, babe.
Yeah, and doing both sides, and again, 30 or 45 seconds.
Great, awesome, I love it. And now you've brought some toys here, or aids, reflexology aids. Would you walk us through them?
Sure, no pun intended.
Yeah.
So the first is a foot roller, although you can use it on the hands like this. But you can, I like to do this first thing in the morning and right before bed, especially if I've been on my feet all day. But just rolling your foot or your hands The digestive reflexes are the lower part of the hand or the arch of the foot, so it's particularly good if you have digestive issues.
Can I play with it?
Yeah, sure.
Thank you.
Go for it.
Oh yeah, this is nice.
Feels good.
It's not really hard. It's kind of
It's gentle.
soothing. Yeah. This is nice. Wow, you could get into this. All right, awesome. Love it. This thing is kind of weird.
It looks
looking.
weird, right?
Yeah, it's very strange.
So it's stimulating rocks. So, and in Asia, they actually have, in public parks, they have reflexology pathways that get access different parts of your feet. So I have mine in front of my kitchen sink.
Perfect. Multitasking, yes.
But this one kind of hurts good, so I would start off with socks, because it's sensitive. Like, wear your socks when you stand on this, and then you can work your way up to bare feet. But you know, thousands of years ago, we walked around barefoot, and we were stimulating those 14,000 nerve endings on our feet every day, and now we wear shoes. So this is a good way to access. It's kind of like giving yourself a mini reflexology session.
Now, is it possible to overdo it? Can you hurt yourself by sticking these little nubs in the bottom of your feet too hard or anything?
No, you know, I would, if your feet are particularly sensitive, definitely wear socks, maybe stand on it just for a couple seconds and work your way up. But yeah, it's like, it's accessing all those nerve endings, so it's good.
Okay, so no bad side effects to reflexology. No. Okay, cool. All right, our last toy here is this ball that I've been thinking is for throwing at my producer, Sanford. But apparently that's not what it's for, so would you show us?
That's an alternate use. So this is the $1 million golf ball technique. You can use a golf ball. I like this, and you can get any of these online, because it kind of gets in a little bit more. But you kind of dig into the bottom part of the hand, the base of the palm, and you want to try it?
Yeah.
You're getting the digestive reflexes, and also if you have asthma or allergies, you're accessing the adrenal gland reflex, which is right here, and that's why it's called the $1 million golf ball technique. Kevin Coons, a reflexologist, had a client who would have asthma attacks every day, and doing this every day really helped get that under control.
So is reflexology something you would do on your kids?
Yeah, you know, I think we naturally do that. Like this little piggy went to market. Like, you're stimulating those toe reflexes, and babies especially, but little kids as well, are very sensitive. So just doing it for a few, 30 seconds on the whole foot, pressing, really does a lot. So it's a good way, and you can do that solar plexus one too for crying babies. That works really well.
That.
Yeah.
Even just playing with it gets you to a more centered and calm place, I feel.
Yeah, I think anytime you can interrupt stress, and doing it in a minute segment is something that's bite-sized and manageable for everybody.
Can I keep this?
Yeah, sure.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having me.
I have loved this. This is great. Up next, we're going out and about for the mind, body, and spirit. You won't want to miss it. Welcome back. Today we've learned about everything from reflexology techniques and ways to face our fears to how to properly feng shui our homes and our lives. Now I'm back with all of today's guests, Deborah Flanagan, Terry Call, and Ariel Josephtown, to find out what inspires them on a daily basis. Thank you guys all for coming back.
Yeah,
thanks for having us.
So what inspires you? Deborah, what inspires you?
I think anything that helps connect me to myself. So whether that's going to an art gallery or a museum, or writing poetry, or going out in nature, or a good trip to a big city.
Terry, what inspires you?
I would say watching people transform. Watching people step into what they're really supposed to be doing in their life, that really inspires me to keep doing what I'm doing.
Yeah. Ariel?
I almost feel like saying #inspiration everywhere, because there's things everywhere on a daily basis that light me up. It could be the way someone's wiping down a counter, and a child just sort of like being filled with wonder. And that's what I love most about Shakespeare, is everything's about discovery and wonder and that sense of the world. So that kind of perspective inspires me.
I feel the same way too about finding inspiration everywhere, and how life is so much more satisfying when you're actually awake enough to see the things that are inspiring you, not just like, what's my next appointment, I'm running late, but really whether it's a New York City street, whether it's a dog or a child, as you said. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, the little details in life, being grateful and present for those.
And what's the word come from? I feel like inspiration is almost like to breathe in or to take in something, right? Inspire. I didn't take Latin. But I know that we're conspiring because we're all breathing together, so it feels like to take a deep breath feels inspirational.
That's a good way to put it.
Yeah.
I like that. Yeah.
Yeah, I like that.
And even if you just made that up, I'm going with that.
Oh, cool.
So I want to talk a little bit about the difference between inspiration and motivation, because people use inspiration to get themselves to change, to take action, but I think it's confused sometimes with motivation. So can we just talk a little bit about the difference between inspiration and motivation?
I think motivation, though, at least being a psychotherapist, a lot of times clients are motivated by things that are not joyful and beautiful and amazing. They're fearful and they're vengeful, and it's, I'm going to prove my father wrong, so I'm motivated, but I'm not happy. I feel inspiration is connected to joy. Motivation can be connected to a lot of other emotions that are not necessarily joyful.
Although I would say that that motivation by those negative things can be a positive, because it gets so bad that you've got to do something different. So I'm always inspired by my clients who are willing to go to those uncomfortable places, by those uncomfortable feelings, because a lot of us walk around knowing that it's bad and not wanting to make changes, but those people that can go inside and examine those and move forward as a result can be, that's inspiring to me.
Yeah, and it feels a little bit like motivation is externally focused. You know, like it's some goal, I'm motivated by that thing I would like to attain. Whereas inspiration feels like it comes from within and then overflows out. So I don't know if that's a way that any of you have ever experienced that, but to me, motivation is like, I have a goal, it's out there, I'm gonna go get it.
Well, I think people are different in different ways. Maybe it's that introvert, extrovert metaphor. You know, like some people really get a lot of motivation and inspiration from outward things, and that helps them go within. And some people really, that wellspring comes from within and then goes out. So it's not like there's a right or wrong. It's interesting the way people do it different.
They're both important.
Who inspires you?
My grandmother really overcame a lot of obstacles and a really tough childhood to create such, I think it's so hard to let go of those patterns, sort of like what I was just talking about, in the way that you're raised, and to do something different, and I feel like she really did that, and so I really still feel that connection and that strength.
I love that.
I feel inspired by so many people. I mean, my mother is an inspiration because her whole life is about service to others. So if you can, you should was her motto. And if you have more than anyone, you should help them, whoever that is. But there's so many inspirational leaders out there in the field who inspire me with the work that they're doing, from Oprah to Deepak Chopra to, there's so many who are doing such good works and bringing this to millions and millions of people. So I'm inspired by a lot of people.
Do you have a quote, Ariel, that inspires you? Is there something that a mantra you use, or a passage that you find brings inspiration into your life?
Yeah, there are two of them that are actually, one of them is sort of one that I've been meditating on for a while, which is, especially in regards to relationships or figuring out something that works in the home, when faced with two options, always take the third. Because I feel like if you are locked into a position, it's really difficult to not be entrenched, and the third option can be a hybrid or a give and take. But I love that one as far as it applies to our homes. But recently, there's been this thing that I've been meditating on, which is, I think, a Buddhist quote or a Zen quote, which is, the obstacle is the path. I think so many people are obsessed with, how do I get around the obstacle? You're in my way. What can I do to get over, around, through, get this out of my way? But I love this idea that whatever's in front of us is there for a reason. And if we go into that instead of avoiding that, there's gold in there.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah.
I love that. I'm gonna remember that one.
Cool.
Do you guys use vision boards? I know people. I do believe that there's inspiration all around us, and it's all about shifting our awareness. But you can consciously create inspiration in your intention with tools like a vision board. Is that something you guys use?
I think they definitely work, but I don't have one. But one of the things I do each morning when I wake up, when I'm lying in bed in between that kind of wake-sleep state, is I think about goals and big things that I want to happen, or maybe the day, maybe bigger goals, and that's working with those mirror neurons, which your brain doesn't differentiate between what you imagine happening and what's really happening. So that's my kind of version of the vision board.
I have an actual vision board in my house, which I've had for many, many years. Oh, so many things.
One thing.
Places that I want to go.
Okay.
Pictures of my husband and myself and my family, everyone happy and healthy. I'm always manifesting that. People I want to meet. There's a picture of Oprah on there. I'm not kidding. And things that I want to do. So being healthy, that's a lot of my stuff. There's a lot around health because I'm a cancer survivor. So perfect health is front and center on my vision board. But then when things happen, I take them off, right? And then I put new things on. So your vision board can always be changing depending on where you are in your life as you evolve.
Do you need to keep the things you want to keep on your vision board? I mean, it's not like your life isn't like a check-off box, right? I mean, you can't say, okay, my marriage is working, I'm taking the picture of my husband off, you know? I mean, I don't have a vision board, so I'm kind of curious as how you navigate vision board territory.
I think it depends on the person. I mean, I've done vision boards that are for a specific wish or for a particular year, but I think there's something beautiful about ritually letting go of my vision board. Not just chucking it in the trash, but I mean, the idea of honoring what's on it and saying, acknowledging the things that did manifest and then releasing the rest and then creating a new one works for me. But I love the idea. There are some people I know that have vision books where they keep the old pages and they keep looking back through it and they don't need to discard them. But I also think in terms of feng shui, my whole home is a vision board. So the idea is that we want these inspirations, constant reminders in ways that are beautiful. And so if all of our stuff in our home is pointing backwards to where we've been and what we've accomplished, it may be keeping us stuck. But if we start putting things of where we'd like to go and things in our home that are leading us towards a motivation.
Such a great idea.
Well, and the other thing about feng shui that I love is that it brings your intention to that space, that area in your life. So in romance, you want more romance in your life, so you light a candle there. It's a physicalization of an intention, which is what I love about it.
Like a concrete example.
I call that making it real. Like, let's take this intention and in your space, let's make it real.
Right. And it reminds you. You know?
Yes.
So what do you guys do, because you're all in the change space and you all are about inspiring other people. What specifically do you guys do? We'll start with you, Terry, to inspire other people in your life.
I see them at their highest self. That's the first thing, is hold space for them to believe. I believe in their dreams. And so I reflect that back to them. It's possible. And I think that's probably the biggest thing that I do to inspire them, is believe that what they want is possible.
All right, we're going to take a quick break, and when we return, our guests will share one last inspiring thought. So stay tuned. We're back talking inspiration with today's guests, Deborah Flanagan, Terry Cole, and Ariel Joseph Town. I've got one more question before we go, so this is it. If you had one message to give to our viewers today, to take away, what would that be, Deborah?
I think the most important thing to realize is that we have the answers that we seek inside of us. And so using different tools to help you uncover that, but you know what's best for you.
To trust your inner voice?
Yeah. Your intuition.
Terry, how about you?
I would say to remember that 98% of the fear that you feel on a daily basis is just a feeling, and to have them ask themselves the question, how would my life change if I really believed that that was true?
That the fear is just a
feeling, that they can change that feeling into something better.
Great. That's a great question. Ariel, what's your one idea for us today?
Well, my feng shui master is from Hawaii. And a lot of what he taught were about these Hawaiian huna principles. And the one that I love to focus on the most is that energy flows where attention goes. So whatever we're putting our mind onto grows in our experience.
I like that. Yeah. Well, my energy is on all of you guys today, and I want to thank you all for being here and sharing your insights and wisdom with us all. My one thought for today would be gratitude, because I am grateful for all of you being here. So thank you all so much. I'm Lisa Oz, and I'm always searching for new information and inspiration with my guests. I learned some great stuff today. I hope you did too.